afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Watching is here with your latest update on the intensifying tropical storm Celia. We currently have tropical storm Celia intensifying off the southern coast of Mexico here. There won't be any direct impacts from it, but it is in fact expected to intensify and even become a hurricane later down the road, and it could bring heavy rain is expected, and flooding is also expected on portions of southern and western Mexico. Especially the western coastline of Mexico is expected to see the heaviest amount of rain as the storm intensifies, gets a little bit, and just sort of rides the coast line right here. And this area is going to really be hit the hardest, and then it's just going to head right on out, and it's going to continue to produce a lot of heavy rain and flooding all across this area. Mudslides and landslides are going to be big threats in this portion of Mexico. I do want to show y'all this is the track that's taken. It was a disturbance, then it became a depression, then for momentarily became a tropical storm, then it weakened to a depression, and now it's now back at tropical storm status as the winds continue to intensify. It was indeed very, very close to the coast of Mexico and Guatemala here, and El Salvador, bringing lots of heavy rain and flooding in that area. Now that it has moved away, it is farther away, but there's still some shear. As you can see, right south of Mexico, you can see there's some wind shear right in this area. You can quite clearly see the winds are blowing in this general direction, cutting across these cloud tops, preventing them from stacking vertically. You can also see that with this right here, you can easily see the storms are trying to go through convection, but the wind shear is blowing them off this direction and away from the center circulation. Right now there's generally a lot of circulation occurring right now in this area. You can see the CDO in this area is pretty big, and lots of deep convection, but this is where the activity is at. You can kind of see the surface winds down here kind of moving in this general direction around the center of circulation. That'll tell you this is an area of low pressure, but all around it you can see the upper level winds are blowing just across like this, causing the storm to be sheared apart. But there's thankfully a little bit more intense convection occurring over the center of circulation right here, so it is able to allow the storm to intensify. Now, based on what they're seeing at the National Hurricane Center, they're able to classify this as a tropical storm because there has been enough convection. I do want to take a look at a more broad satellite image so we have a better idea of what we're looking at in this entire area. This other satellite imagery is a lot lower resolution, unfortunately, but it's okay. It will be alright for what we want to do. If I show y'all the infrared, it'll let me. You can clearly see the cloud tops in those areas where they are relatively intense. But yeah, if we just take a look at this, you can just see the deep thunderstorm activity occurring right over here. Very big blob of convection right there, but you know, it's just so obvious, the shear just blowing right across like this, not really allowing for any kind of deep thunderstorm activity that occur near the center circulation. So I do think that this storm is going to try to intensify some more. I'm actually going to take a look at the models and just sort of talk about the track that the storm is expected to make over the next several days. So, I'm going to take a look and see if there's anything else I need to open up here. I might take a look at the severe weather just because I'm a little curious with what we got going on here. I think it's the next chance for any kind of severe weather is going to be tomorrow. I'm actually going to pull that up here right quick. This must have changed. This morning it was, all of this was just marginal. Now they're saying this area is got a slight risk of severe weather. Kansas City, probably one of the more major cities. St. Joseph, Manhattan in this area. Kerrsville, Centerville, Washington. This portion of northwestern Missouri is pretty heavily populated, especially with Kansas City there. And I believe Kansas City has, I think, close to 500,000 people living there. If we take a look at tomorrow, yeah, there's a slight risk in this area too. So when we wait, we're going to wait for some daytime heating to occur, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we could expect for the severe weather outbreak, small severe weather outbreak in that area. But really, I mainly want to focus on the storm down here and what we could mainly expect with this. Not satellite, I need to look at models. So if I take a look at the models, if we take a look at the 800 millibar vorticity, you can kind of see, actually I want to go to a website because that's going to be a lot better in terms of me explaining things. So let me just head over to my weather page. I don't have that saved here. I really need to take a look at the vorticity, aka spaghetti models. I want to take a look at the vorticity, the 850 millibar vorticity. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And actually zoom this in just a tiny bit. So as you can kind of see, this is an old picture. Hold up. No, that might still be right. Actually, let me look at, do I gotta look at satellite again? Yeah, it's June 21st. So you can see down here where Celia is. See how red that is and how high up on the scale this is right here? The higher up on the scale it's going to be, the more intense and the more consolidated the system's going to be. So notice out here we still have loss. The tropical depression is heavily sheared, but there is still at the lower lows of the atmosphere at 850 millibars. That's about 80 feet above sea level, 5,280 feet. It's pretty round. It's got good energy. It's together, so it's really not considered a tropical system, mainly because of the winds, 35, 30, 25 miles an hour, very, very weak storm. But when you take a look at the structure, this basically shows you what is the structure looking like at the low levels of the atmosphere. If the low level part of the storm looks good, the upper, mid, and upper levels usually look good. Now if you take a look here, some of that energy is a little bit more spread out, probably because of shear cutting across. But generally near the center, it is consolidated and it has a very well-defined core. Very easy to identify. So when we look at these maps, we're easily able to identify areas of interest. So boom, we got a tropical system there, tropical system here, maybe some kind of energy here. Looks like an upper level low, just south of the southeast coast of Canada. Upper level low. Got a frontal boundary coming off of that. We got some energy coming off Africa right here. That's a tropical wave. Very, very broad, not round at all. Very, very elongated. So I assume it's being cut off by wind shear there. Area of low pressure up here near the Azores. Not very well defined. Can kind of see that, but you take a look at this map, you have an idea of what we're looking at, the kind of system we're looking at. Basically, just shows you the structure of the system. Right now, Celia doesn't look the best. It isn't super tight. It isn't really well defined, but it's there enough to be classified as a tropical system. It is round, and it has enough organization, and it does have those winds of around 39, 40 miles per hour. So when we take a look at the shear, could be some shear here. So there's a little bit of wind shear in this area where that system is at. Same here, same here. There's lots of shear here. Also want to notice how you have the jet stream go up and over. The jet stream is an area of, I guess you could say, an area of elongated low pressure. There's a huge ridge of high pressure over the southern part of the United States. And so that jet stream is going to come here. It's going to dip down here because there's a little bit of a dip of the jet stream here. Then it's going to move over the high pressure because high pressure builds a ridge, builds kind of like a mountain. And so the storm are going to go over the mountain like that. And then you can kind of see there's a little bit of a dip of the jet stream there, which is pretty interesting. Very, very thin and extremely elongated, extremely tight. There's a sharp curve at the bottom. So, very interesting. Probably some thunderstorm. Could possibly be some thunderstorm activity off the East Coast. Wouldn't be surprised. Speaking of thunderstorm activity, you can kind of see that frontal boundary. You can see that frontal boundary there. You can also see maybe some kind of a tropical disturbance, tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa. You can kind of see down the shear intensity on the not the shear intensity, but the 850 millibar vorticity, basically the spin in the lower levels of the atmosphere. Call for a tropical wave falling apart in this part of the Caribbean. High upper level winds bring it apart. You can see that. You can see that high pressure. The Azores high. Not a lot of clouds, but you can kind of see they should be moving clockwise this direction. You can kind of see that general idea that they are moving in that direction. So that's what we're looking at here. You can see the high pressure. You can see the tropical waves very easily. We got a tropical wave there. We got a tropical wave there. And over here we have Celia in this general area. And way over here we probably have somewhere in this vicinity the remnant of Tropical Depression Bloss. Regarding sea surface temperatures, not going to be a problem. Very, very, very strong and warm sea surface temperatures occurring right now. So if you take a look at the map of the upper level, because you can say the upper level air pressure and the pressure, you can kind of see that ridge. Where does that sit? Roughly right in this area, the southern east part of the United States, roughly. So you can kind of see that ridge sitting right down there. Temperatures in the 90s, 94 Dallas, mid to upper 80s in the South Texas, probably going to reach over 100 degrees. So we got hot temperatures across the entire southern part of the United States, and I think this is going to allow for heat stroke is a big possibility, and it's going to be bad. Very, very hot temperatures, unfortunately, coming from this ridge of high pressure. I do want to take a look at the detailed sea surface temperatures, just because of how extremely warm they are. So warm, it's honestly almost scary. Also, I'm sorry, my clock down here, down in this area, is just not working right now. I didn't feel like setting it up, to be honest. If I'm being legit. I was like, it'll be fine. So if we take a look, let's take a look at the Gulf of Mexico, so we have an idea of what we're looking at. Oh yeah, look at these temperatures. So you can clearly see very, very hot sea surface temperatures across the northern Gulf. 30. They're actually seeing 31 degrees sea surface temperatures, which I believe is about 87.8 degrees Fahrenheit to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're really seeing super duper hot sea surface temperatures in the northern Gulf. Not a good sign. Very hot across the entire Gulf. 31 degrees centigrade. We're seeing temperatures of about 88 degrees. This is bathwater temperature right now. And those temperatures are probably going to warm up even more. And Wouldn't even be surprised even seeing near 88, 89 degrees Fahrenheit. We get a hurricane blowing right over that. Now it depends. Is this just at the surface? Does this go down to a depth? Now if this goes down to a depth, we need to take a look at TCHP, which is Tropical Cyclone Heat Potential, which is the amount of energy that is in the ocean. Basically the depth. How far does the 80-degree isotherm go into the ocean? 100 meters, 50 meters, hell, 10 meters, 1 meter. Or does it go down to a depth of like 300 meters, which is close to 900 feet? So there would be a loss of upwelling, but if you're just upwelling warm water, it's not going to do much. That's something that's very, very important in understanding the intensity of a system when it moves over water. Is there a lot of tropical cyclone heat potential? When you look at that, there's quite a lot right there. 125, 130 kilojoules. Alright, per centimeter square. Okay, that's a lot of energy. I'm going to actually look up what a kilojoule is, just so I can explain this better. So 1 kilojoule is 1,000 joules of energy. So essentially, there's 125,000 to 130,000 joules per centimeter squared in the Gulf of Mexico. That is an immense and huge amount of energy in the Gulf of Mexico. 130,000 joules per centimeter squared. That is huge. So yeah, it's a square centimeter. It's a huge amount of energy in the at 1730. It is 1715. Okay. So with what we're looking right here, there's a huge amount of energy in the Gulf of Mexico. There's probably 100,000, 120,000 joules or 100 kilojoules per centimeter squared in the Caribbean. But the Gulf of Mexico is just, you know, it's almost scary when you think about it. I'm gonna try to look up I'm going to take a look at the TCHP of the Gulf of Mexico. I want to see January. I want to see June. Can I see June 20th? So this is the depth of the 26th. I thought I clicked on the Gulf of Mexico. Evidently, okay, Gulf of Mexico. So this is a 26 degree isotherm. So the darker the color, the higher it is. So, you know, northern Gulf of Mexico, it goes 50, 60 meters. So it goes to a depth. The Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean, talking more like a depth of 100 to 150 meters below. So that's 300 feet below sea level, 300 feet below the level of the sea, the top of the surface. If we take a look at the tropical cyclone heat potential, this is what we got. Look how high in energy that is. This is June 20th. I don't know if I can see today's. I think it's always off a day. Yeah, June 20th, 2022. Yeah, June 20th, 2022. And then I want to look at the Caribbean TCHP. And again, I mean, it's crazy how high the TCHP is. This is June 20th, 2022. And you can see right here, look at that. very, very, very high CCHP there. Over 120,000 joules per centimeter squared. It's absolutely incredible how powerful and how much just pure energy is in here. We take a look at just what's the SHA? I forgot what SHA stands for. Sea surface temperatures. Wow, 20 degrees. Okay, do these sea surface temperatures work for anywhere else? Anywhere else? Think I figured that one out. So it is very, very important to take a look and see what we're looking at here. So just for the Gulf of Mexico, the depth of 26 meters, it's going down at least 100 meters, 100 to 125 meters below the surface of 26 degrees, about 79 to 80 degrees. So there is energy in the ocean right now, and it is not looking good. Well, there's nothing that they're expecting to form in the North Atlantic in the next several days, anytime soon. So we're going to take a look at the latest Canadian model because I'm kind of curious what they're showing. Tropical cichlids. Why can't you just go to tropical cichlids automatically? Regions, North Atlantic, CMC. Take a look. I would say that's pretty scary. If we take a look at the tropical Atlantic, you can clearly see much closer up, 994 millibars. I mean, it's been a genuinely while since we've gotten a system out here. We can clearly see right here an area of low pressure developing in that area. Certainly something to watch that is interesting because it's something that is not only likely but is actually expected to happen. Now this is according to CMC. What I think CMC, a lot of the other models haven't really picked up on it. I don't know if it's going to form. There isn't a lot of proof. This is way beyond 5 days. The National Hurricane Center doesn't even give it a 0% chance of developing. Literally. Sometimes they start off at 0. They're not even showing that in the next 48 hours or even 5 days. This goes out. If I take a look, it's in, looks like it becomes an area of low pressure in just 66 hours. In 120 hours, we got a closed low center circulation, pretty high pressure still, 1,020 millibars, or 1,080 millibars. But it quickly intensifies as a pretty moderate 60, 70 mile an hour tropical storm, possibly even a hurricane. Just missing Puerto Rico to the south, probably getting that onshore flow down in this part of Puerto Rico was an option on here. It's not. I'm actually going to go to WSV3 and see what they're showing because I'm curious. Does WSV3 have... I have to end this up here pretty soon because I've been streaming for nearly half an hour. WSV3 even has a CMC. Curious now. Okay. They don't even have the CMC up here. because it shows that there's a disturbance way out here. I want to go back to HWT3, just talk a little bit about Celia, and wrap things up here, talk a little bit about what we could expect for the Caribbean. Right now, Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, quiet. Okay, just work with me. Come on, we can do this. Okay. I get this zoom in just. So this is what we got with tropical storm Celia, as you can see. Well off the coast of Mexico. Deep thunderstorm activity, mainly off to the west of Mexico. West of the center of circulation, I mean. It's all to the west of Mexico. Just to clarify that. Really, this is really probably going to be it. There's really not a whole lot more I want to talk about. I needed to make this a quick stream because my mom and I share the studio together, and it's hard for her to work when I do a stream. So I like to keep these sweet and short. We will talk about weather models probably this afternoon, or I'll probably make a post about it. I'll make a post about it. But right now I need to do the stream and make it quick. Just make a little quick video update. We'll continue to talk about the tropics to give you all updates on what we see in the tropics coming in the several days. Right now, 120 hours out. Really not a whole lot to talk about. It's still pretty far. You know, it's CMC is the only one really showing it right now. I'm gonna wait for other models to pull it in and start recognizing it. And if that happens, we will continue to talk about it, monitor it, and continue to give tropical weather updates on that. And if it does develop to a storm, it would be named Bonnie, unless something else develops before it. But that's me for today, guys. I need to go. I have to continue. I gotta get the studio back to my mom so she can get her work done. But that's it. Also, one last thing before we go, we do have a Patreon. Links will be in the description below. You can sign up for Patreon today. Patreon.com/HurricaneWatchTeam.com. It starts off at $1 a month. Then you have 5, and then you go up to $10 a month. We just want to get some people going. Please, if you want more content and more special unreleased content that we don't release here on YouTube, feel free to go over there and you will get it all. That's me for today, guys. Thanks for joining today. And that's me for today, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. And I'll talk to you guys later today. Peace out.